And welcome back to Champion Spring. Cougar gets the MVP. Some pretty bloodthirsty support hooks there.
Some highlight reel play. We're going to see a couple of them. The first one was from a very dubious face check from Nuclear, even though he packaged away. But the one under the turret in top lane was honestly the topping on what was a really nice display from EMFire.
I would say so. Yeah, really good performance actually
go.
by EMFire, surprising enough.
Flash W, nope, come back here.
Right in the face, ouch.
Look really painful. The Yordle.
Yeah.
Corki just finds his demise. Good support play from Guga. This was definitely a Hippo highlight though.
There's Flay on Saucin as well. Keep him scared away.
Buying a lot of time, but Guga doing his thing. Supporting.
Yep, that's right.
Here comes. Very nice.
Lantern.
Little lantern. Vroom.
More like fly, more like swoosh.
And the first ever MVP for the EMFire organization is Guga.
Yeah, I guess so. And their first game win ever in Champion Spring. I mean, yeah, it's only the third match, but everyone else in the tournament has at least won a game.
Look, I didn't think this team would pick up a victory till much later, let alone a series victory, and there's a real chance. SBENU did not impress us.
Well, do you think that Sora's coming back in for SBENU?
I mean, something was off, and I think it's definitely time to revisit. We hadn't seen Soul previous to that last game, and yeah, it's Soul time.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I don't think the problem was just with Soul, obviously. I think the whole team kind of played it a little bit sloppy last game. SBENU didn't quite keep things as tight as they did in game one, but swapping, oh, I don't know what I'm saying.
Swiper swapping.
Swibbity swapping back to Sor should hibbity help them wibbity win.
Got your Looney Tunes on point there, Doa.
I guess.
See if Soar and Flawless is Elise. It's another game on Elise, another loss for Flawless.
Yep.
Not saying that he made any massive misplays, but just again, doesn't seem to find the same success with Elise that he can on other junglers.
Yeah. That's super inspiring play.
SBENU back on the blue side. Let's see if they can try and recreate, because honestly their comp was very similar to their game one comp, but the change to mid from Corki to Ezreal really seemed to impact their decision making and the lack of pressure. I want to see Saucin on a lane dominant champion. I said it about Faker yesterday. I say it again here about Saucin.
All right, well, we'll see if you get your wish as we move into picks and bans for game 3 between SBENU and EMFire. Tom Kench and Lee Sin once again, the first bans.
See where they go from the draft for here. We've had some surreal drafts where Rise falls through picks and bans, so anything is possible on patch 6.1.
Yeah, very bizarre. I suppose if neither mid laner plays it, then it's just not going to be a priority. There's a Graves ban, the Lulu ban immediately from EMFire.
What will SBENU do about the Lissandra? Will they draft it early? They certainly aren't banning it, clearly.
Well, EMFire's going to ban it this time. They don't want to give that one over to SBENU.
Rise again available.
Alistar.
Rise and Alistar, both available. So we're going to troll us a little bit.
Well, Jarvan would not be first pick worthy. I think the Alistar is the way to go, and that's how they are going to go.
We have 2 games in a series where Rise falls through picks and bans. I thought maybe they forgot about it in the first series, but someone did flash it and then change away from it.
Yep, true. Victor, a very early mid lane decision for EMFire, but it's just a really safe mid lane champion.
But this is interesting drafting because there's no ambiguity about these 2 picks on the red side, though.
Yeah, very true.
Mid and top locked in, and look, with Hippo and his champion pool, which is consisted of purely off-meta picks, he showed something on the Gnar. It's a meta pick. Maybe you just lock it in if he doesn't have anything to really go elsewhere. If the only meta pick he's confident on is the Gnar, why not go for it again?
Sure enough. And it looks like Elise Lucian will be the choices for SBENU. So Nuclear swapping over to that Lucian, and Flawless going to try the Elise out once again.
Certainly been mixed results and then some for the Elise, but again, I felt like more like his pathing and the team's play was off rather than any mechanical misplays on Elise from Flawless.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Might be a takeaway here. It would be an 80 carry Corki if they went for it, but
wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, Saucin has been a great Corki, and he's not going to get to play it this time.
Saucin doesn't have the room for... I guess he does. He does have counter pick room because Victor's been opted into. Wouldn't be terrible time against some of these picks, whether it was the Velcos or maybe going for something different. Maybe he wants to take over this whole game and go for the Kassadin.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of get the impression that SBENU just wants to pick something where they can play safe and then be really strong in the late game and just count on being just simply a better team.
Hard to find anything more lane dominant than Victor in terms of actually being able to take him down and kill him. You definitely won't have the lane control, the wave control of Victor, but Rise would certainly be a powerful pick.
Rise has been ignored weirdly this match, but it'd be strong now. Might still go with that Kassadin. Trundle would be the top pickup, I guess, for Soar if they lock that in. What do you think about top Trundle right now?
So we saw top Trundle previously as, last second pivot.
Wow, Shen.
We saw Trundle into Maokai. That's what SBENU tried previously. It didn't really work out, but of course the matchup is excellent, but in the end they couldn't really play around this top lane Trundle.
Okay.
This is interesting now. That's probably just them showing or flashing something crazy. It's one of those situations where opting into Trundle against Nara is range champion against melee. It's a lot of pain early.
Well, support Poppy is a thing. It's not a thing we've seen in Korea yet, but...
You know what it's really good against? It's
what?
really good against Shen and Alistair because you can, of course, block those gap closes with your W.
That's very true. Cougar had a great game on Thresh, an MVP performance on Thresh in Game 2, so can't blame him for going with that either.
Gives him a bit of pick.
I think going with the Thresh is just fine.
It gives them a bit of pick, a bit of ranged initiation, which they don't have really from anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't mind them going for the Thresh. The Poppy will be spicy, but I don't think we're going to get it.
Thresh. All right. Well, it's a good, safe pick. Very, very safe comp for E-mFire.
And SBENU's got all their eggs in the Kassadin basket this game. They've got two sources of damage, but very high damage from Kassadin and from Lucian in the late game. So this is definitely a matchup where Sarsen can start putting the hurt in on Victor, but for the majority it's going to be wave clear from Victor and Sarsen trying to find his tier, find his Rod of Ages, whatever scaling items he goes into, and then later on, around level 9, maybe they'll start to play around taking down this Victor.
Yeah. It really seems like a lot of this game is going to be catching that Victor and eliminating him before the fight starts if you can, you know?
SBENU has globals aplenty, double teleport and a Shen.
And I mean, Edge with no teleport, so in that sense, SBENU, could really kind of run around the map on E-mFire, and E-mFire would have a tough time keeping up with it.
SBENU's best way to win, hold down Hippos such that Kassadin's actually able to 1v1 him in an offlane with teleport. If Hippo can't answer this Kassadin split push, they can go crazy, but 1-3-1 with double teleport, looking likely from SBENU.
I would say so. Well, we didn't know what we were in for in this match between SBENU and E-mFire, and it's ended up being pretty interesting. Very solid game from SBENU in Game 1, looking a little bit sloppy in Game 2, and E-mFire, conversely, looking pretty good and picking that one up. Game 3, who knows? Anyone could take it. Let's get in the game and find out who does. Oh, there we go. Now we know. Now we know what wants to be ruled by everybody. SBENU versus E-mFire. Both of these teams wanting to rule at least this best of 3. If you want to rule, start small first, rule the best of 3, and then move up from there,
Worlds and the World definitely come after a single best of 3 win. Neither of these teams have been able to claim one. A lot on the line. Pride, you'd think, especially for SBENU. E-mFire, they were not expected to win this series. They've already overperformed in winning one game. Yeah. What a story it would be if they picked up their first series win at only the 3rd time of asking, because it took to the 2nd round of matches for SBENU to do that last season.
Well, if you're SBENU too, you don't want to lose this and suddenly find yourself down at the bottom with the Afrika Freaks not having any match wins. It'd be surprising to say the least. I mean, we've had some surprises. We've had some surprise results already this season with Samsung performing as well as they have. Jin Air up there as well. SKT losing to Jin Air. It's been an interesting season so far.
This E-mFire bunch are really a ragtag group. right to the last minute, it looked like Najin might be selling their slot. Eventually, just like Team Impulse in America, they held on to this E-mFire organization. No longer Najin, don't have that title sponsor. None of the players left over from the roster that, again, was kind of mulling around the middle of the places. We only expected them to be losing series pretty comfortably 2-0, so they've already overperformed and looked really good. They looked in control against SBENU, which is impressive to see.
Say so. Soar going to his lane. Looks like it will be a lane swap, but was called, so we have the duos up in top, the top laners down at bottom.
The Australian meta, Doa, top lane and bottom.
So you're familiar with this one?
I am indeed.
You're more familiar, though, with the Chinese meta, which is just kills all the time. Kills everywhere.
It's what I remember from Spring, but it's changed a little bit.
Now it's just losses everywhere.
Oh boy, here we go.
Sandbagging everywhere.
These are definitely the memes du jour of China.
I couldn't help it, man. It's okay, you've escaped. You've escaped the LPL. You're here in Korea, man. Everything's fine.
I was in China. I was in Australia, but I cast the spring season of the LPL. They won MSI. I left to Korea. They won Worlds. So far, I've moved with the times.
Oh, wow. Flash from Hippo already. Flawless was coming in for that gank. The pings went down, so Hippo correctly using that flash. So you're saying that once EDG won MSI last year, you were done.
You're like, I was done.
My job is done. China has won an international event.
That's exactly how it came together.
Wow. Just like Mary Poppins, you just showed up until the wind changes. You've done your job, and now it's on to Korea.
Korea didn't need my help before.
No, not really.
I'm skeptical it needed my help at the time, but hey.
It's like if Mary Poppins showed up and it was like a well-adjusted family. She's like, oh, all right, I guess I'll just clean or something.
All I'm saying is that my movements in 2015 are a worrying trend for China.
I guess so. It's the second time we've used that joke in 2 days. Good for us.
It's been a long 2 days, though.
No one's ever said that before, though, so we're still pretty original.
Exactly.
Yep.
OG right here.
Exactly.
And we don't even have Origin yet.
No. Assassin took some pretty big poke from Edge early on, but with that corrupting potion, he's able to heal right back up again. And this is, for once, not going to be one of those games where we see the turrets in top and bottom going down really fast.
That's right. Every turret is sacred this game.
I guess so. Flawless coming up. You shouldn't name yourself something like Flawless. For the record, if you're thinking of your own gamer name, guys, don't name yourself Flawless.
Well, just
you're
remember,
never going to be able to live up to that.
We cast him impressing in his debut series. Remember, the SBENU organization brought him in for their relegation match out of nowhere. And who was he that day? SBENU Floor. This was a guy who was very grounded about his ability to play League of Legends.
Right.
He went from floor to flawless, and he started making mistakes.
See, it's just not a good idea.
He invited this on himself.
Yeah, that's right. You don't name yourself stuff like that. And please, don't name yourself Hero. We've got like 10 of those.
It's true.
Like a billion pro players named Hero. Now lane gank coming in from Flawless. Did Hippo spot him, though? I don't think so. Cocoon hits Hippo, though. No flash. He's dead. Meganar? He's not dead. No, maybe he's still dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead. Wow. All right. Meganar, just the right time for Hippo.
That was with SBENU really nice on their layering of CC in the mid lane.
Sauce with the flash, Crush immediate with the flash response, and that's going to be first blood going over to E-mFire. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right, Doa. Two good ganks. One of them, the Meganar timing was perfect, even though the layering of CC by Saw was on point. And in the mid lane, Sarsen flash preemptively. The follow-up flash comes from Crush. First blood goes over to E-mFire.
Yep, pretty clean. SBENU already finds themselves behind a little bit in this game.
Sarsen has the teleport, though, so crucially won't miss any experience. This is already going to be a matchup where he's playing on the back foot, at least at the start, so probably won't really amount to too much.
Yeah. You know, if I was Kassadin, I would get blades on both my hands. I mean, if you're going to have a blade on one hand, why not have it on both hands? You can chop stuff twice as fast.
I don't agree with you at all, because let's say you're making a sandwich. You need to hold the sandwich in one hand, then chop it with the other hand.
Well, I would chop it before I picked it up. Otherwise, you're just asking to lose a finger.
I just feel like you're not going to be very dexterous with these double scissor hands. Look, ask Edward. He didn't like it very much.
Yeah, but there's a difference between scissor hands and, like,
Blade hands?
Yeah,
Really? Seems like a pretty small difference, really.
Oh, Cougar. Nice hook on a nuclear. Blind hook. Just goes for it. He's in trouble, though. Cocoon. Well, you tried to get a little bit fancy, and you got killed.
Ironically, got headbutted out of the queue, but with Flawless being there, nice pathing from Flawless this time. They pick up the kill. Answering kill. Now 1-on-1-1.
Yep.
When do we start seeing the global shenanigans?
Well, probably not until a few more minutes, right?
Maybe not. The ultimate is up for Shen and has teleport to get back to lane. Late game, you know, it's not quite the submarine combo of Evelyn and Shen, but Kassadin is very, very mobile. Shen riding on top, CC, burst. The late game looks strong, but can E-mFire use their very reliable lanes to create an advantage before late game ever becomes a thing?
Yeah. Maybe.
Otherwise, CS numbers very even across the map.
Yeah, Soul is just gonna, or Soar rather, is just gonna go ahead and teleport into bot lane. Hippo did recently, so no big deal. No TP disadvantage, but Soar has that ultimate, so he's actually got a little bit of an edge in mobility.
Nuclear's behind in CS, but did pick up a kill, so it's about even.
Yeah, pretty even across the board. And so, now we farm. Let them farm. It's like that Godzilla movie, only if Ken Watanabe had delivered the line in a really boring way.
I'm a big fan of that actor.
Yeah, he's good. What do you think about the new Godzilla movie, though?
I haven't seen any Godzilla movie.
Wow.
I know.
What the?
No classic Godzilla, no new Godzilla, no remake Godzilla.
The new one was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
5 out of 7.
Sure. Why not? Oh, fight over the blue buff.
Force level behind.
Yep, crush.
Doesn't have much health.
Some damage on the Flawless. There's a shield from the Lantern. Cougar flash flays. Flawless has to repel. Knock up onto Cougar, but here comes Edge for some extra damage. Nuclear a bit trapped, trying to make something happen. Flawless goes down. Secret soon to follow. It's enough, and Edge gets himself a kill. And that's going to be a well-won blue buff for E-mFire.
Shen's ult didn't complete, and Hippo didn't use his ult, so I'm not really sure how that happened exactly.
Could have just stunned him in Mega Gnar form. That was probably it.
That's probably it, of course. Does have the other CC in Mega Gnar form, so that must have been what happened. So I wasn't able to get there. SBENU obviously overcommitted. Communication problems have been the story in Game 2 and now Game 3. It feels like that should have been cleaner, and E-mFire again with an early lead.
I mean, if you're SBENU, you could have given up that blue buff, right? You could have just let them have it. I feel like SBENU is just too frantic right now, man. I mean, they're just kind of like, it seems like they're kind of overreacting to things, doesn't it?
It's like when teams lose a team fight around second dragon. There's actually a lot of trading. It's like when teams overforce around a second or fourth dragon and lose the game off, and you're like, actually that buff wasn't that important. You could have just backed away. Some of the teams, they don't have the great shot calling or the great macro play, and they're like, see fight, take fight, and you pay the price for that.
So.
SBENU have a lot of scaling to do. The one-item power spike from Lucian isn't great. Essence Reaver really kicks into high gear when you have your Zeal item completed. Rod of Ages is going to come through from Kassadin, and in general, it's a Victor with Hexcore upgrade against what at the time was a blasting one Kassadin. At every point in the early game, E-mFire should be winning skirmishes, so just back away. It's only a blue buff.
Yeah.
And only a blue buff becomes only a dragon as well. It becomes lane control, becomes deep wards. The snowball from taking one bad fight is what happens very clearly.
Well, yeah, I mean, losing those 2 kills over to E-mFire has resulted in E-mFire now taking a pretty decent lead early on. Not a ton of gold for the gold lead, you know, around 2K, but it's more like you said, you know, the dragon, the map control. It's a good start for E-mFire.
Let's see if Flawless can be smart about his pathing. The change from Game 1 to Game 2 was the change from Corki to Ezreal, and thus losing pressure around mid lane. It's going to be the similar story with Kassadin versus Victor. Almost no one can match Victor for wave clear. The difference is Flawless can path around, put down pink wards, create pressure around mid lane. They lose this early turret, and it looks like they will.
Yeah, there's nothing that SBENU can do to stop this.
Well, they could have had Flawless path into mid lane earlier to dissuade what is now going to be a very easy mid lane turret. Losing the mid lane outer turret, you lose so much vision. Now Cassidy is going to be so much more predictable, so defensive, melee clearing waves under the inner turret. That's just a poor rotation from SBENU.
Yeah, and I gotta say, E-mFire is doing a pretty good job of taking advantage of all of this. They're not looking confused at all about what they need to do. They're making the right choices as soon as they get the opportunity.
We've seen E-mFire in 2 series. Look, the second series especially, they were completely blown away. They lost 2-0 to Samsung, but if you go back and watch that VOD of Game 1 against Samsung, as Hippo and Saw do some tank fighting. If you go back and watch that VOD, E-mFire, they had the better teleports, they were winning, they had 4 dragon stacks, everything that was going their way until Crown on Victor, Flash caught the Corki and they won during the long death timer. E-mFire are not a bad team. They showed in the previous game that they are able to, in the late game, make good decision making. They just have, in general, I would say, a fairly weak lineup in terms of talent. It feels like they've taken that talent and been pretty good.
I suppose. Crush could be in a little bit of trouble here, though. Flawless takes some damage. Now he's going to go down.
He's down.
Yep, as soon as he comes down, that should do it. Oh, no, takes a little bit more damage. Makes it out for the moment. Soul comes over the wall for the kill. Crush, he's going to get exchanged, it looks like. Yep, that will go down. Secret low as well. Sasson starting to go off on this team. It's a double kill, though, for Soul before he dies. That was messy, but in the end, 3-2, and that's going to be a win for E-mFire. Soar trying to flash away, Cougar following. They've got the ward, but the cooldown for the hook looks like it wasn't quite up in time.
It's still not a timer to be able to take these fights. If you're SBENU, it's just a Rod of Ages, 1 stack from Cassidy. The timing window hasn't been hit, but they keep looking for these fights, and they come out on the poor end of them each time. You're going to see the replay. Flawless almost instantly deleted. That's not the start of a fight you want for SBENU. Again, as the fight goes along, Force manages to walk out. At this point, Soul gets the kill. Sasson has a very nice teleport timer, but you can see Nuclear can do no damage. It's zoned out of the fight, and even though there's not the most damage on the remaining members of E-mFire, eventually you're going to win this trade pretty handily, just given the scaling of the teams.
Another pretty good ult for Hippo in that, too, and more than anything, Flawless is the one that began that fight, and if you look at the mini-map, when that was going down, there was a lot of good vision for E-mFire at the time, but Flawless, he didn't know where Edge was. He didn't have any clue as to who might be there, and he decided to fight over this Krug. I mean, it's more of what we saw at the blue buff, right? SBENU just over-prioritizing, trying to protect these things that they really don't need to protect.
I mean, the words used to describe Flawless's play so far in Champions have been over-aggression, has been recklessness, has been taking Lee Sin Qs he shouldn't. Lee Syndrome would actually apply to Flawless even in his MVP performance. So
I'd say so.
It's been a rough transition to the top level of play in Korea after what was so much expectation given his solo queue play and again, that relegation series that cemented his spot in this lineup.
Yeah. Another turret for E-mFire, and they are well on their way to a solid game 3 if they can keep this up. SBENU needs to just calm down, defend what they've got, and not kind of overreact to some of these things.
Again, it's not so much about overreacting right this now, it's simpler things. There's some decent green wards on the map, but no real pink wards, only just a single pink ward put down by SBENU. As shallow as the entrance to their own Raptors, they just have very poor pink ward control. They have 2 in the inventories, none down on the map. The warding control and the movement of the ward line from E-mFire. I love teams where you can tell if they're winning or losing based on their warding. When they start to get an advantage around mid lane, suddenly wards pushed up from defensive spots like their own Raptors to the river, to the enemy side of the jungle, start contesting those buffs. These are all things E-mFire did really cleanly in Game 2. And at least at this early stage, they look to be setting up a very familiar pattern right here as well.
Yeah. I mean, look at the top of the map right now on SBENU's red side. All those wards in there for E-mFire, and they had all those down before they went for the Rift Herald too. So I gotta say, this is a pretty solid play by E-mFire this game.
If E-mFire do win this game, scouting report for this team that I would provide would be really try and take advantage of their just more rookie mechanics, rookie decision making in the early game around lane swaps, and just in a 2v2 sense with your mechanical players, because if you let them get even, if you let them get ahead, they played the map surprisingly well.
Yeah. And that's all the other outer turrets down now in favor of the E-mFire. 3-0.
Wave clear from SBENU. It's a Kassadin comp. You should know that Kassadin and Shen together, very low wave clear. It's a bit reminiscent of the famous CJ comp with Kalista. Top lane, it was Fizz, and mid lane Kassadin. There's Lucian here for some wave clear, but certainly not strong wave clear from SBENU.
And immediately E-mFire goes after this dragon. It would be their second.
Good timer too.
Yeah, it doesn't look like SBENU's going to be able to do anything to stop this. They're off defending their own lanes, and yeah, unopposed second dragon for E-mFire.
People say that if you're going to pick Kassadin, which again, not a common pick in Champions, then you need a strong ganking mid lane jungler. And both these teams have those. Elise and Rek'Sai excellent at pathing around mid. Flawless has not played around the Kassadin at all. There should never be a situation where Kassadin loses his turret first. That's just something that the enemy team should be playing proactively around. And SBENU have not helped out this Kassadin at all, and there's nothing Sarsen can do to match wave clear against a Victor.
I mean, keep in mind that Sarsen had the option of taking Ryze. He also mused over Ahri, which wouldn't have been a bad pick too, but ended up going with this Kassadin.
He took a champ that can kill Victor, who can get on top of Victor if given time, if things are even.
Right.
He wasn't given the time, his turret was taken very early, and he couldn't go even because the jungle pressure wasn't provided by Flawless, and those two things together mean that there may never actually be a point where it's relevant for Sarsen to get on top of Victor. Victor has Abyssal Scepter, has the maxed out Hex score upgrades. I'm not convinced that Sarsen wins a duel against this Victor.
Yeah, it's not really looking too likely. Not at this point, anyway.
I don't know what happened to SBENU in the offseason. Obviously, we've heard about the Org problems. It's Flawless again.
It's caught. Secret coming in from the side. They knock Crush up. Crush push back. Here comes Sarsen for some damage. Nuclear there as well. Teleport coming in from E-mFire, and SBENU looking very nervous now. Here comes Soul with the package. Doesn't get a lot done, but he does separate SBENU. A lot of low health members on E-mFire. The fight very scattered. Nice hook onto Soar. Soar forced a flash away. Now Sarsen coming in. He's gotten the opportunity. That's a double kill now for him. He's getting chased down by E-mFire. Secret comes in to save his mid laner, and that's going to be a big team fight win. Triple kill now for Sarsen, and it looks like it could be the ace if they can catch Soul. Valkyrie probably not going to make that possible, but that's a fight they wanted. And speaking of over pursuing things a bit, I don't know if E-mFire really needed to take that fight.
In spite of E-mFire playing so smartly around the Kassadin, and in general SBENU not helping him out, he still found the fight he was looking for. Now at the start it's looking like it's going to be even, right? At this point everyone backs away, even after the crazy initiate by Soul. No one dies, you're like, okay, it's going to be even. But the big thing that happens here is the overcommitment by Hippo. He goes for a single man ult on the Shen, and guess what? Sarsen realized, hey, no one's actually protecting this backline.
Yeah.
Instant deletes the low health Victor, the low health Thresh. And from there, Nuclear's full health. This was avoidable. Hippo solo initiated onto a Shen and then watched as his backline was exploded.
Yep.
And now suddenly the Kassadin picks up 2,000 gold from nowhere and has 8-stack Rod of Ages Lichbane. And now if you leave him alone with the backline, he will kill people very fast.
Yeah, this game just changed a lot. E-mFire had a pretty big advantage, and now it's more or less back to dead even, it seems like.
Really big mistake from Hippo. The only person that can peel off this Kassadin, again, peeling off a Kassadin is always a bit of a folly, very hard to do.
Yeah.
But the only person who can help out the backline is going to be, firstly, the Nara ultimate and the Thresh. The Thresh was low health. The Thresh and the Victor were non-factors. They should have backed away. Instead, single man ult on the Shen changes the face of this game.
Yeah, it really does. Now, the question is, can SBENU stay calm enough to turn this into an advantage?
And can E-mFire be clear that drop everything and kill the Kassadin? This is a very, very aggressive build, the sort of thing you'd expect Faker to do.
Yeah.
You're a solo carry, you need to get into the back line. Makes sense to go Rod of Ages, that's the standard build. So if you're thinking about what you need to do, the safety first choice is Zhonya's. That's not a Zhonya's, that's a completed Lichbane. That is all about instant kill and be instant kill.
Yep. That's the plan. It's a very Sarsen thing to do, isn't it?
It's good to see it. I like the aggression. His team has done him no favors. This is purely from his own opportunism in one messy fight in his own jungle. So put it all on your back, Sassen. I'm impressed.
A Secret picking up that Aegis too.
Frozen Mallet.
Gonna help out. Yeah, Sassen's a bit slowed down, goes back in onto Hippo, forcing Hippo to be the one to run away.
Sassen takes an unnecessary turret shot. They do draw out the Shen ultimate.
Huh.
Shen has teleport, so probably not going to be anything that E-mFire can get.
I'm a little bit surprised. I think they were musing over a dive, but I don't know. Didn't work out, did it?
Spectre's Cowl, I think, and just the flat health from the Frozen Mallet means it was a low percentage dive at best, so probably smart to back away.
Probably. As I was saying before that happened, Aegis picked up by Secret, and that's certainly going to help quite a bit in team fights against the magic damage from Victor and from Corki.
There is an answering Aegis on the other side, but Kassadin's all about consistent rotations of spell rather than just the burst like Victor.
Right. And they've got the big AD damage coming in from Nuclear that E-mFire doesn't have quite as much of.
Wouldn't really say a big AD.
Well,
AD right now still doesn't have his first.
Someday he'll have it.
Someday, yeah, exactly. When he finishes the rapid fire cannon that we're expecting, absolutely. But for now, way behind the Corki.
Yeah, we're talking about the majority of the damage that's coming in, the Titan.
And Flawless, again, I'll stay on him. I don't want to because I really was impressed with him. I thought he would take the jungle ball in Korea by storm, but after that early start, going still for the Runic Echo on Elise seems interesting. If you're ahead, go for a snowball Runic Echo, but we learned a lot about what it's like to buy an AP enchant when you're behind, when Bengi got exploded by Trace multiple times against Jin Air.
Yeah,
He is so squishy. Look at the difference in health bars between Crush and Flawless. It's literally 1,000 health between the two.
Scary. Scary if you're SBENU. Dragon is up, and immediately E-mFire goes for it. SBENU really wants their first Dragon of the game. We'll see if they can do it.
All teleports are available.
That's right, E-mFire looks a bit nervous, and they will disengage. Soar coming from the side. He could taunt. Dragon is taken by E-mFire. Now the disengage. Box dropped by Cougar. They don't want to fight. Hook onto Secret. He's just going to ult and get out of that.
Sassen cancels his TP. He's going to use the Lich Bane to push down top turret as an answer.
Yep, and he's going to be able to do a lot of damage to that. I don't know what the health right now is at top turret, and we'll see if he's able to take it down.
Lich Bane.
I think he's probably
A lot of damage. He'll get it very low at minimum.
Yeah, Hippo's going to try to stop him, but I don't think he can. Yep, that turret's gone.
Shen ults back up. We might see a re-engage.
Maybe. Sassen not really afraid of Hippo, but he might be afraid of Cougar and Hippo together.
In the end, Sassen doesn't call for the ult, so just Drift walks away.
Yep.
Tense.
All right.
This is much more tense. We saw 2 blowouts, one in each direction in games 1 and game 2. It felt like by 24 minutes the games were largely decided. They were just rounded out from there. The team that was ahead won, but now things are pretty even though E-mFire well on top in terms of the objectives. 3 turrets, 3 dragons compared to just the single turret from SBENU. If they hadn't have got that team fight win, it would have been the same sort of lead that got SBENU and then E-mFire their wins in the previous games.
Yeah, definitely. So at this point, do you think we're going to see the 1-3-1 split push out of SBENU?
I mean, look at the items from Sassen. He is massive. He has an Abyssal as well to go with these improvements. 3-item Kassadin can definitely duel most people. He doesn't really have kill pressure on Hippo, but 1-3-1 is why you go for these teleport Kassadins. You've got away from the laning phase that was so troubling for Sassen, so who else other than this Gnar is going to stand up to Kassadin, and then you're going to have that issue where Shen's going to be split pushing unopposed.
Yeah. It seems like they're just keeping Shen in the 1v1 against Gnar right now and sending Sassen up to try to deal with Soul.
I mean, Sassen thought about ganking with the Shen, decided it wasn't worth it, and moved back bottom.
Right.
Blue buff's up.
Oh. Fight over the blue buff. SBENU knows how this goes.
That's right.
They might get it this time, yeah. E-mFire not wanting to tangle with that. Probably a good idea. Oh, we'll see. They're coming back in again, actually, now. Who got the blue? I think, actually, Corki got it, yeah. Soul got the blue buff.
Wow, okay.
All right.
Surprising that
Yeah.
they would apply enough pressure, but SBENU, I guess, smart to not over-pursue once again.
Well, I think they're remembering a certain other time in this game where fighting in the blue buff didn't work out very well for them.
It's true. Blue buff obviously lovely on Kassadin, but given that he's got a Lich Bane, he's expecting to get the mana back from the W, expecting to get the auto attacks off, so he only needs mana for a single team fight, so potentially may have enough even without the blue buff.
Right.
going to be the battle of can Sarsen instant kill Corki, get out, and then re-engage as his team pushes forward, because there is some magic resist on the side of Victor. Corki is looking like a very juicy Kassadin target.
Yeah, we'll see. See what he can do.
Looking for Baron control. E-mFire were very good playing around Baron in the previous series. There's no real wards at all on this side of the map. Sarsen standing in the only real advanced role that SBENU have, advanced ward that SBENU have down.
Being sneaky, making sure there's no turrets there.
Spot the pink ward with the vision from the upgraded sweeping trinket.
Yep.
Can't clear it out yet. Tense stuff, though. Both these teams really need a win.
They do. You know, right now, SBENU's just being pushed back so hard, though.
More time for Kassadin to pick up items. Never really something you're too unhappy about.
I suppose that's true. And we're into that mid-game point now where the death timers are a lot longer than they used to be, so...
That means no fighting.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen teams really slow down and just avoid conflict at all costs now. A lot of people thought the longer death timers would mean games ended faster, but you know, if you know about those death timers, you're just going to try to play safe and just not fight.
It's always fun to see those discussions where people, you know, the first reaction is absolutely that. It's like, okay, get a pick, you can get so many objectives with it, but then you remember that Korean teams were already very risk averse.
Yep.
You tell them that the punishment for dying is even stronger, and no one wants to fight.
Yeah, speaking of fighting, SBENU may
It's
want
go
to
time.
here. Yep, Sarsen coming in with the flash. Shen looking for a taunt, can't quite find it. Hippo TPing down. They're going to slow down Sora a little bit with that auto attack. There's a culling. A lot of damage onto Gugu, who gets caught and destroyed by Flawless. And now with the man advantage, dragging up in a minute, there's also a Baron to think about. What's SBENU going to do?
SBENU were lucky to get a kill. It tells you about how
they
little
were.
initiation they have, that a flash from Kassadin was required to even start a fight. In the end, Guga just getting a bit over anxious. They're going to look for more, though.
Yep, going for the 5v4, taking out this mid lane turret. Sarsen taking a lot of damage from that turret. SBENU are on the run now. You'd think they'd really want either Dragon or Baron. Wow, actually Hippo taking a lot of damage. Flash cocoon attempt from Sarsen, but they end up catching Victor instead. Edge goes down, and now SBENU can really take whatever they want.
Taunt flash from Saw was on point. Pixel perfect on top of the best possible person in Edge. Delete all the wave clear. Now, even though they don't have strong siege, the Victor dead means they have run of the map. Really nice re-engage, but it shows you SBENU, they don't have wave clear. If there's any Baron going over to E-mFire, they have to force fights. And this time they decide, okay, we've got the big cast and force a fight. It requires rifting in and then flashing. So 5-minute cooldown used. But again, more E-mFire's mistakes than necessarily a clean initiation for SBENU, and they want to fight, and you can tell that it's going to be tricky for them to pull off that engage multiple times over.
Getting this dragon is so huge for SBENU. I mean, not only do you get the stats that your first dragon stack gets you, but keeping E-mFire away from 4 dragons, keeping them away from being on the edge of getting that big 5th dragon buff is really, really big for SBENU.
30 minutes in, you know, 3-4 items for the carry. 6% more of that is a lot of damage, so it is a very important buff. And as you mentioned, denial.
Hello. Hippo caught, cocooned, and then blown up by Sarsen and Flawless. Can he use that ult to try to escape? Hopping over the wall, and Sarsen electing not to chase.
Besides, he doesn't have enough advanced vision. Only had vision of the brush that Hippo jumped into. So we'll just go kill this turret instead.
I mean, it's smart because, yeah, Sarsen, one of his main goals in this game is to split push, and it works well that you can just walk over and take this turret. Don't need to chase, play it unsafely or anything.
I want to see Zonia's as the next item from Sarsen. We might see a death cap if they want to repeat the Rift Walk flash initiation plays, but Zonia's would mean that flank initiations with the TP were realistic for the Kassadin.
Yeah, well, he's got the needlessly large rod, so could be going for either one.
Again, the Zonias means that you can make those flank plays. If you flank without Zonias, you just die. You trade 1 for 1, and
sure,
you expect better than 1 for 1 with just how big this Kassadin is.
Yeah, he's kind of a cleanup Kassadin at this point.
As opposed to what other type of Kassadin?
As opposed to the go in and die and trade Kassadin.
Oh, yeah. The feeding Kassadin.
That's right. You don't want to do
the
that.
silver Kassadin.
Like, I will just get a kill and then die. So, but hey, I traded evenly, so it's worth it, right?
I traded
no,
1 for 1.
It's not.
I caught their enemy support and I died as a mid laner. 1 for 1 trade worth.
That's right. I totally owned that Janna. Yeah, worth.
I don't know, it's pretty cathartic to kill a Janna. She really doesn't like dying.
I suppose.
Lots of disengage
You
on
get
that
pushed away
champion.
a lot if you try that.
Absolutely.
So the vision has been set up for SBENU around Baron. We'll see how much they actually want to try for this. Kind of risky.
You know, I was skeptical of Nuclear's damage 10 minutes ago. Suddenly, he's got a lot of it.
Yeah. And then IE.
This is where the build really hits higher guard. 40% CDR, Infinity Edge crits. Not a lot of armor on the side of E-mFire. They've been focusing, understandably, on Magic Resist, given that Sarsen was the one to really benefit from the snowball team fight earlier. But this is fun. 31 minutes in. Both games 1 and 2 were basically done by now. This game is even. This game is for all the points.
I mean, I wasn't expecting a lot from this series, to be honest, and this hasn't been that bad, actually.
Well, I mean, we had a series yesterday where there was so much disengaged. The game was so long. Teams weren't playing towards their win conditions. Those are the sort of games where it kind of just grates you down. You're just waiting for that big fight, but not getting it.
Yep.
Both the wins this game have been clean. They've been smart. And now we have an even game where one pick, one team fight.
Whoa,
this game could end at any moment.
Nice damage from Nuclear with that culling onto Cougar's Thresh. Not enough to really push the E-mFire off of this Baron too much, but it's something to worry about.
If I could get in the comms of SBENU, I'd tell them, keep it even until you get the Zonias and then go for the big flank play, because they very clearly want a team fight. They just do not have any way to initiate, barring an all-in play with Sarsen and Soul's teleports.
Yeah, then they'd just be really confused because they're like, we don't speak English.
That's a fair point.
But I get what you're trying to say. I actually don't know. Maybe some of them do speak English. I haven't talked to those guys yet.
Still new faces on the scene.
Well, you usually find like a secret English speaker in a lot of the teams,
English speaker.
You know? That's the thing. They don't want to tell you.
Rainova was the best
Find
example
out.
of that.
I thought Dandy actually
True.
was the one where
Although if you ask Dandy, he says he doesn't speak English.
he totally does. Though.
But he says that in really eloquent English accent.
Faker tells you he doesn't speak English either, but he does. It's pretty good. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Korean culture, Doa.
2 minutes until Dragon. And the E-mFire now a little bit on the defensive, but Soar has just not been able to get any sort of split-pushing leverage going with this Shen. Are you a little bit surprised that they haven't sent Sasen to deal with Hippo?
To some degree. At the end of the day, Shen isn't going to be able to outpush Anna. He's at best going to be able to match. There's the item pickup I was looking for. Sarsen has the Zonias.
Okay.
I think this is where it's time for the big play. Get that Sarsen back in base. Get the Shen riding on the back of him with the ultimate. Initiate with the Zonia's play. And delete someone. Because Soul still has no magic resist.
Yeah.
He will die instantly.
I'm going to call out Edge. He's still got his Doran's ring. You should probably get a pink ward at this point in the game instead.
You know, you're probably right there, Doa.
Yep. I mean, I guess he does have the warding trinket.
That's good to see, actually. Surprisingly, on 6.1, a lot of players have been moving away from Warding Trinket. In the late game especially, swapping back to it makes so much sense. It is just objectively stronger than it was previously, after about the level 14 mode.
Yeah, a lot of people just going for that upgraded Scrying Orb, but Warding Trinket's still good. I would still rather have a pink ward than a Doran's ring at this point, though.
Fair point.
And I think SBENU would like to keep their Tier 2 mid-turret alive, and they will for the moment anyway. Dragon up in 30.
There is a window right now where Victor does not have a Zonias, where there is no magic resist. Okay, there is some magic resist. Okay, what is he building? He has... That is interesting. He's got both a Spectre's Cowl and a Blasting Wand. Okay, Soul.
Nice.
Is that going to be Leandri's Torment and a Banshee Veil?
Could be.
Some poke, I guess? I don't know what he's doing. I guess it could be a Void Staff.
Yeah, might be.
You're trolling me, Soul.
Wouldn't be the first time we saw Void Staff on a Corki, but it'd be the first time in a while.
All right.
The E-mFire trying to position themselves for this fourth Dragon.
Sarsen can win the game with the right initiation here.
Oh, we'll see if he can do it. Trying to come from the side. Dragon getting a bit lower. And at about half health now, SBENU really needs to start putting some pressure on the E-mFire. They're starting to force him back into that choke.
Russian
Solar getting chased though. Crush going in. Culling use canceled early on as the E-mFire goes down. Splits up SBENU. They're going to use that chance to take the Dragon. Actually, Flawless gets it. Secret goes for the engage now. Saucin thrown against the wall by Hippo. Another nice Gnar ultimate. Can SBENU recover? It looks like maybe they can. Everyone focusing on Soar. There's a kill. SBENU still wants to fight that 4v5. No, they're turning around now. They need to be so careful. They got the Dragon, but they may lose everyone here. Saucin still safe. People getting low. Cleanup time for Cassidy. Gets one. No, he gets caught over the back wall, but Soul chases for the kill. And now Secret and Nuclear in big trouble. Secret just dying. That's a double kill for Soul, and Nuclear has to bow out. So SBENU got the Dragon, but in the end lost a few people.
Yeah, the clean initiation after the Dragon wasn't
Oh,
there.
hello.
Nuclear's not done.
Guess not. Oh, but he needs to be very careful against this Corki.
He just wanted a single damage trade. Knew he had the culling back up after that little trade, but
Yes.
not enough from it. But that certainly wasn't clean. Specifically, Saw was tanking multiple members at the back. They didn't get the combo they were looking for. We're going to see a replay. Remember, it was the Dragon to SBENU. That should have probably been enough. The ult is not largely countered by Rift Walk. This looks like it should be, just based on what we know about items, a one team fight. But E-mFire, they're so much better with their target selection. They instant kill the Shen in the back line. His Torn is down. He has no other CC. Saucin has to preemptively use that zone. Even though there's flashing health bars, there's still very tanky members. And it's first Shen all by himself in the back line, and then Saucin all by himself in the back
There's
line.
a Baron being done by E-mFire right now. They're trying to rush it before SBENU can get there. TP coming in for Hippo. SBENU trying to make it. Everyone teleporting in. Baron is going to be taken by E-mFire. Can they escape, though? Looks like they can. Crush, though, caught before he can get away, so at least one kill going over to SBENU. Nuclear picks that one up. And so can they maybe take this mid lane turret before E-mFire can respond?
The hollow victory. There's a big minion wave in bot.
Yeah.
Are they going to ride that in? Are they going to try and push while that minion wave is coming in? Looks like SBENU want to prioritize the mid lane turret.
Yeah, well, they just want to keep things alive for the moment
Looking
anyway.
for a dive, but doesn't look like they get one.
No. And even with this Baron buff, SBENU in an okay place. No, I guess not to take that mid lane tier
Victor plus Baron buff minions.
Whoa.
No luck there.
Saucin getting really chunked out by Soul.
Able to pull off the backline assassination plan that looked like he'd formulated with the item pickups he had.
Yep. Dangerous place to recall, but it looks like Saucin's going to make it out anyway. Watching the minimap. Yep.
There's no way to outpush Baron buff minions plus Victor. Usually Victor gets countered by those Baron buff minions, meaning he doesn't have instant wave clear, but both of them together means that waves die the moment you walk near E-mFire.
Yeah. SBENU kind of needs a fight at this point. And Soar recalling right now. Easy turret take for E-mFire. And they've pulled themselves into a pretty good lead.
It's not commanding, but it's certainly significant. Only really the scalings of champions like Cassidy give you hope if you're a SBENU fan.
Yep.
Doesn't have the Void Staff yet. A lot of magic was just stacked by E-mFire.
Could be another tier 2 going down. It will be. And E-mFire is starting to look a bit unstoppable. It's going to need to be a pretty miracle team fight for SBENU.
All the magic
They go
resist
for it.
stacked. So much magic resist.
Flank incoming.
I was just looking for it.
Yep, Secret. He's too far up, though. Yeah, I mean, if he would have engaged there, he just would have gotten destroyed.
But you just know, it's just almost an embarrassing initiation. Shen preemptively ulting a Cassidy and running at you. That'll never lead to the pick you're looking for. It was tipping the hand.
Well, they caught Hippo, but that's pretty much the least valuable person to hook this time.
E-mFire have so much magic resist stack. They have very little in the way of armor. So Void Stuff seems to be the new item, and that's the worrying thing about Cassidy. We're like, okay, once he gets that 4th item Zonias, he'll be relevant. Now with the magic resist stack, we're like, okay, now when he gets the 5th item Void Stuff, I guess 6th item Void Stuff, he'll be relevant. Makes you wonder about Cassidy picks just because all the factors have to come together, and you have to be gifted 2,000 gold with a lucky team.
Pretty much. I don't think the Cassidy pick was great.
Needs that Void Stuff gold so badly to Saucin.
I mean, SBENU just pushed around the map right now. They're going to try to defend their last tier 2 turret in bot lane.
Base hasn't been broken, so it's not over yet.
Not yet, but man, Victor does so much damage. They can just take this.
Certainly will. It is Void Staff for Corki, so Corki is predominantly magic damage.
Look on the Soar. Gets away with his taunt, but that's cooldown down for a few seconds anyway. And there goes the turret. Yep. Oh, Flash and R catches Nuclear and Soar. Now Secret gonna try to get in the back lines. Crush takes a lot of damage. Saucin and Nuclear, good positioning in this fight. The box used to break things up a little bit. It's pretty even. Low health members on E-mFire now. Great engage by Secret again. Double kills coming in though for Edge and E-mFire. It was close, but they turned it around. Despite the triple kill for Nuclear, it's still going to be a one-team fight, but barely. Well, I don't even know. I guess it was pretty much dead even, honestly.
Yeah, dead even, and the people alive for SBENU are Saucin and Nuclear, so a slight advantage they keep there. Again, their inhibitor turret up. This was such a close fight. The fact that they got the stun onto Nuclear meant that Hippo, once again, really justifying the early rotation pick. Saucin's around the backline. Soul is actually caught up by Saucin for the majority of this fight, but I think this fight just demonstrates the thing about Flawless. Going once again this Runic Echo build. He's not tanky, he doesn't do damage, he dies to incidental AoE. I feel like Cinderhulk tank, at least being a real frontliner, would help facilitate Nuclear and Saucin cleaning up these fights.
Could be. The big take from that last fight was that SBENU was able to go and grab the third dragon, so that evens up the dragon score now, and you know, another little step in the right direction for SBENU. They may have lost that bottom turret, but they did get an even number of kills, and getting that dragon on top of them really keeps them in the game at least.
7,000 gold lead. Starting to become a moot point. It's not like the series yesterday. Again, we saw a 61.5-minute game. There has been consistent fighting in this game. And again, that one item purchase, 35% total magic penetration, given the stacks coming through from E-mFire, could actually churn what have been fairly even fights between SBENU and E-mFire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of people on E-mFire get really low health in these fights.
Oh boy.
Oh, Cougar gets caught by that cocoon, takes a ton of damage. No execute though. He nearly died. And now, how much can SBENU push here?
Saucin backs, he's got the item. Okay, Void Staff is completed. Now can they find a fight that doesn't involve Rift walking with Shen ult already on top of them?
I don't know.
They don't have the
I don't know,
comfort.
man.
That's why I was waiting for teleport flank with these members, not run straight at them. That's just that's not how League of Legends works.
Yeah, not since Volibear was popular. You are right there. Or Blitzcrank, I suppose.
At least he gets movement speed buffs as he goes towards enemy champions.
It's true. Yeah. Baron.
There's tipping your hand and there's preemptive ults and Rift walks in.
Yeah. Baron is up in about 40 seconds now. And I think we're going to see a pretty apocalyptic team fight there. Or maybe we'll just see a pick and then a team taking it easily.
Well, Guga been caught multiple times this game, certainly not being the same as MVP level play in the previous game. SBENU have had messy initiation but gone even or slightly better in fights. Can they actually find a flank ward for a teleport? That's what we're waiting for them. And E-mFire, they'll just continue to play control League of Legends. They deny the blue buff away from Cassidy once again. It's been a consistent story. 10 seconds to Baron, looking at Vision. It's not the Vision stranglehold that E-mFire have had, but they do have a pink ward on top of Baron.
Yeah. And some pings going down from E-mFire. They really want to try to take greater control over this Baron area.
And just keep pushing out. E-mFire, will they try and rush it again?
Oh, it's time for a Baron.
They know it's going down. They do have Vision.
They're doing it fast. Teleport coming in. They disengage. There's a cocoon onto Hippo. No real follow-up, though. You can't do much to Hippo. Now, if they wait out the Mega Gnar, that's going to be the key. Can they get themselves in position to re-engage after the Gnar is gone?
Shen isn't around. He wants to ride in on Saucin with the home guard buff to get the perfect taunt.
Yeah, we'll see if he does it. Hippo takes a little bit more poke. Now Mega Gnar is out. Saucin goes in. Shen coming in too. This is it. This is the engage. Soar doesn't find the taunt. Now he does onto Hippo. Can they get him though? Soar hooked. Edge on the outside doing a lot of damage, but Flawless is trying to chase him away. Nuclear, again, great positioning during this fight. Saucin will die after the Zhonya's is gone, and Edge being a hero here as the rest of E-mFire comes in and cleans up SBENU. Big fight for E-mFire, double kill for Edge at the end. Flawless tried to zone him out, but Edge was able to basically fight 1v2 while the rest of his teammates fixed everything else.
Importantly, in the back line, Shen got focused down and died. Then we saw the initiation from Sarsen onto the back line. He also traded his life.
Yep.
Even though Nuclear got a kill on Crush, the tank line stood strong. The play calling was better from E-mFire, and they comfortably won the fight.
Yeah, Nuclear the only one defending this base now. The death timers are long. No wave, and they do actually have the wave. I wonder if they can just end it right here. They may be able to. In fact, I think they almost certainly can. And unless Nuclear becomes the greatest solution of all time, unless Bang gets in the boost suddenly, I don't think this is working out for SBENU. Taking some damage. Oh, gets a kill, gets a double actually. And Nuclear saves the game for the moment.
Wow.
I did not think he was going to be able to pull that off, but here comes Secret. He's alive, and Saucin, Soar come up. And now
Shen teleport.
He could. He's TPing from the side, and now if they catch E-mFire, they might be able to get something in response.
He goes around. Interesting pathing.
I was going to say, yeah, well, maybe they can just go for Baron now.
Looks like they're going to turn on to Baron. I don't think E-mFire are in a position to contest this.
I mean, Crush could try for a miracle steal, but they need him to stay alive. He's got Flash to get out.
Corki and Victor both complete their backs.
Yep.
Banshee Veil means that Sarsen's going to go roam. This is going to be a Baron buff. Wow. The spirit of Bang certainly channeled by Nuclear.
I guess so, man.
Insane.
That was a pretty nice 1v5 for Nuclear to come out of that with 2 kills and a saved Nexus. Let's watch that again.
So he
Great
has,
culling.
importantly, the culling up. He clears the minions with it and then just turns onto the closest target. Guga misses. It was such an amazing flash, honestly, to stay alive. So Guga dies for that. Then Hippo tanks too long, dies as well. He kills 2. Honestly, maybe an over-pursual by Guga. It feels like if he was just zoning with his body rather than necessarily tanking the turret, they would have, at minimum, taken that Nexus turret.
I guess so. Well, as it stands now, Dragon up in 20 seconds. E-mFire in position. Flawless is going to recall, I guess. Interesting time to recall. I don't know if he can actually get back to Dragon before it comes up. And that would be 4th Dragon, so it's not actually the biggest deal. A lot of money needs to be spent by these guys, but hey, I mean, what are you going to spend it on at this point if you've already bought those flasks? And now, Dragon being taken. Looks like SBENU may give this one up. Saucin thinking about coming in. Gonna try to steal it. Dragon taken by E-mFire after all. That's their 4th.
Nuclear, honestly, is putting in one of the strongest performances theoretically on a losing team I've ever seen. He has 100% kill participation.
Yeah.
9-0 and 9. Crazy.
500 CS at 48 minutes now.
He is seriously holding down the fort. He was one of the players we thought would take a step up. Sarsen and Nuclear, they were always the 2 keepers. They were Monty keepers. He was like, all right, I don't know about this lineup, but Sarsen and Nuclear, these guys are good. And Nuclear, showing the level he's gotten to, needs an assist from his teammates. Flawless now has inherent tankiness in the fact that he's built tank items, but he has a GA as well. Interesting that Nuclear has gone for the GA. No QSS means that if he's caught specifically with that Nara ultimate or any other semblance of CC, there's no Mikhails, there's no way to get it out. It's purely on Nuclear to outposition with mobility.
Yep, and his positioning has been really good all game long. Even in the fights that SBENU has lost, he's been looking pretty decent.
Well, it's the clearest way to say if I die, this game's over. When you go Guardian Angel, where you don't have any other utility items, it's got full damage build and GA.
Guardian Angel on Flawless as well.
Yeah, some tankiness there. Will take time to take down this lineup.
Yep. Flawless has been playing it very aggressively this game, so.
Some mixed results and then some.
I know, GA will keep him alive a little bit longer at least.
You can occupy space when you're coming back from life with your GA.
True. So SBENU mostly using this Baron buff just to keep their base safe for the moment.
But surreal, they're still in this game, and they're surprised themselves.
They're all surprised. And it's got to be scary for E-mFire too to come so close and then to be outplayed so hard by Nuclear.
Can they actually make this Kassadin work? The Kassadin team fighting hasn't been as strong despite the item build. The Shen ultimates have been pretty awful from Sora in general, just the calls for them. It's not purely on the Shen player. There'll be some communication among the team about the times. The timing of them has been off. Can they finally nail what this comp is capable of?
Well, they'll try.
Kassadin's, for once, actually looking for that teleport flank. Shen's also off on the side.
Yep.
But they have to worry about these super minions pushing into the top side.
E-mFire doesn't have a ton of vision. Too deep. They've got good vision on the blue side, or red side rather, down at the bottom.
Waiting for 5th Dragon stack, potentially. We still don't know when that is, probably about 3 minutes from now.
All right, going for this turret again. Nuclear had to back off for the moment.
This is where EMFire's rookie status kind of comes through. And against a team with very low wave clear outside of nuclear, and they just don't have the minion waves in the right position to allow them to jump between minion waves, like SBENU was able to do so expertly in Game 1.
Inhibitor's back for SBENU.
This should never happen, though. There should be no world where SBENU is able to keep the minion waves pushed. They don't have good wave clear. Okay, they have double teleport, so they should have maybe 1 wave out of the 2 push, but to have all 3 in good spots is more of a misallocation of E-mFire rather than good play by SBENU.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it really looked like E-mFire just didn't know where to go right now. You know, I mean, they were just kind of sitting in the mid lane being like, I guess we're just going to try to push this. Oh, it's not working, but we're not going to do anything else.
On the one hand, you can say, okay, but you're against double teleport, so they're a bit more forgiving and being able to go push up waves, but start the slow push then, or be smarter about when the minion waves are breaking so that, okay, 1 may be caught in spot, but that person has 3.5 seconds worth of channel time to get the teleport. Ensure that at the same time they're getting to the minion wave, you can get a pick or you can force a fight. These are things E-mFire could be doing, but they're so subtle. You can't practice for 52 minutes.
Yeah.
A 52-minute decision making. It's just not something that happens in scrims. They're not as serious. This game is with everything on the line, and E-mFire have been largely excellent in the last 2 games. It's all about the next decision though. 1 mistake and this game is over.
Yep. Seems that way. And Baron and Dragon coming up at about the same time. Dragon going to probably be the priority for both of these teams since E-mFire is on the verge of their 5th.
I think E-mFire just sets up everything around Baron and takes a Baron for a 4th Dragon.
They could do that too.
They're the ones that have all the aces here. 4th Dragon is by no means a big pickup for SBENU. Of course, it's nice to deny, but... And look, they're actually rotating. Are they going to be spotted out by wards? They're spotted out by a Wolf Spirit. Their movements are predictable right now.
Yeah. I think you're right that the Baron is going to be a little bit more valuable than that 4th Dragon at the moment.
Timing is basically identical. Only 5 seconds between the 2. E-mFire is rushing, though.
Wow, they're actually forcing the recall out of SBENU. They're going to take this inhibitor.
They're going to try.
Yeah, it's going to go down really fast. Here comes SBENU, home guarding out of the base. Not going to save the inhibitor, but are they going to try to engage? I think they are.
Watch Alistar.
Flawless coming in. Will he get the cocoon? He does get it onto Guger. They're going to turn a lot of damage. There's the culling, soaked mostly by Crush. Secret coming from the side, gets the pulverize only onto Guger. And now Sawson just trying to harry them as they run away. Nuclear getting a lot of damage on, but the big front line of E-mFire is turning this around. Sword just is not that tanky, but there's a kill onto Edge. It's all going well for SBENU now. This could be the game. Sawson very, very low. Does he have that Zonias yet? I don't know. Soar still alive somehow. Secret pushes Crush back, and Nuclear, despite losing Sawson, should be able to help finish off Crush and get that near ace.
Crush is very fast. He's got all of the dead man's play across the map,
Hippo.
though. More chasing.
Why are you even in the base, Hippo? Look at that. Flawless. Looking for the kill. And GA comes down, and where's the taunt? They don't find it. Hippo buying a lot of time right now. And that's going to be a Dragon.
Certainly going to be at minimum a Dragon. Honestly, it should be a Baron at this point with the death time. It's still at 30 seconds. Looks like they don't want to go for it. Hippo is 60 seconds away, despite having teleport up.
They can. Do you think they could get both?
They should definitely go for it. They're going to start with the Dragons, by far the safest. I think you go for the risky objective while people are dead, then the safe objective. Wow.
Going for the Baron now.
All right.
Only Edge is back up in like 6 seconds.
Okay, but will Edge get there? The answer is probably not. You do have full build Nuclear with no defensive item slots really apart from the GA. Gonna start it off. What is the right move though from Crush? Do you try for the steal or do you back away and fight 5v5? There's never a clear, easy decision to these things.
Edge coming closer. This is really dangerous for SBENU. Baron getting low. Can they steal it? Secret and Sword trying to zone. Baron nearly down. Who's going to get it? Gets taken by Sawson, and now the fight is on. Soar gonna ult, gonna cancel that one. Secret getting low. Soar actually goes back into the pit. They're gonna lose their support, and now It's going to be a 4v5 with
Oh
the base
boy.
defense. The minions are taking down the Nexus turret.
Hippo has TP.
That's right. He's going to try to get in there and end the game. They're stopping the recalls for SBENU. E-mFire, this is it. The game on the line. And that turret being taken out in the base. The Nexus going down. Hippo trying to be the hero. Soar, though, comes in to try to stop him. Here comes the rest of the E-mFire. They get the Nexus, and they're going to take this best of 3 over SBENU. GG, what a way to end that one.
What an amazing end to the game. Hippo was dead for the entire Baron fight. I
Wow.
saw his timer coming. I knew he had teleport. Teleported onto those super minions, finishing the game, and E-mFire are ecstatic.
Man, well, SBENU not looking too ecstatic. They tried to stick with it, but I gotta say, to be honest, in that best of 3, E-mFire was the better team.
I agree. E-mFire by far was the better team. SBENU made so many mistakes. They were gifted a way back into the game with the multi-kill onto the Kassadin, but their initiations were poor. E-mFire overall played the better game, and they deserved the points today.
Well, it's gotta feel good. I mean, they had a very, very rough first couple of matches, and you know, it may be a win against SBENU, but to get any wins at this point feels pretty good. And so now that leaves actually SBENU and Afrika Freaks as the 2 winless teams in Champions.
And that sounds like a summer 2015 story, but no,
It does.
even in 2016 with the extra experience, with upgrading your jungler and then some, so many mistakes. The build from flaws. I really don't like the Runic Echo Elise, especially when you're behind. The initiations weren't clean. The comp had low wave clear. They need to play around that Kassadin. They didn't do that. They made so many mistakes, still almost won. It's against a rookie team, but the rookie team overall, on balance of play, were the better team.
I would say so. A lot of disappointment for Sasson, of course, too. I mean, he did get about as much done with that Kassadin as he could have. What do you say?
What is there to say? Amazing win for E-mFire, especially after game 1.
Really
It looked
is.
like it was going to be a quick series.
Well, I
Nope.
mean, that was probably the best Lucian performance on a losing team I've ever seen. He was 11, 0, and 10
in a loss.
on that Lucian, and they lost. Yeah.
90+% kill participation.
And Nuclear did like twice as much damage as
Holy.
nearly everybody else in the game.
He did 60,000 damage. The next highest was 32,000 for Victor on the enemy team.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back for the next match.